Erupted in the British town of Epping around a hotel being used to house asylum seekers, one of whom allegedly attacked a local girl. Local reports say more than 1,000 protesters have taken to the street and several people have been arrested.
Joining us now to discuss is Guy Dampier of the Prosperity Institute. Guy, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
So there have been protests in Epping over a hotel housing asylum seekers, and there's allegations now of a sexual assault. So what exactly is going on in Epping?
So protests began last Thursday and they've carried on over the weekend. And they're about a 14-year-old girl who was sexually assaulted by an asylum seeker living in a nearby hotel. Now, the government has failed to stop the small boat crossings that have been going on since 2018. So that's asylum seekers getting in small boats, going across the English Channel and then basically getting picked up and brought into Britain. And over 100,000, I think we're closing on 200,000, have come in this way over the last 7 years. So there are so many of them that what they've had to do is they had to put them up in hotels. But the problem is, for a lot of towns, the hotel is the place where people go to have their weddings or their celebrations. So people are very upset that no matter where they live in the country, they're now getting a hotel with a large number of young foreign men, completely unvetted, and sometimes violent and dangerous.
Right. Now, the claim is a sexual assault of a local girl by one of these asylum seekers. Is the blowback contained to Epping, or is there a sense that there's growing backlash in other areas as well?
I think there is at the moment. There are so many headlines coming out that the mood in the country is changing enormously. I mean, it's very telling that Epping itself is not a poor northern town like the ones that rioted last year. This is a very leafy area. It's close to London. You know, these are nice middle-class people who are coming out in the streets angrily. And that's in large part because not only have we had this massive increase in illegal immigration, but also in legal immigration. We've had millions of people move here. It's becoming increasingly clear that that is changing the face of the country at a speed that people are very uncomfortable with. There was a story this week based on freedom of information requests, which showed that there are more than 2,000 schools in Britain where more than half the pupils don't speak English as their first language. And there were 2 schools where they couldn't find a single pupil who had English as their first language. And you have to ask yourself, how are people going to integrate when there's nobody left for them to integrate into?
So 2,000 schools and 2 with no English speakers. That's incredible. So is it just the culture clash, or is there something else going on here?
I think there is more to than that. There's the danger, there's the culture, but there's also a third element, which is that Britain's not having a great time of it economically, and immigration has always been promised as something that's a bit of a financial boon, that would always be a free lunch. And it's not worked out like that at all. It's actually just become a massive welfare magnet. So again, we had another very recent story saying that there are now 1.3 million foreigners who are claiming universal credit, which is the main form of benefits. So it's not all the benefits, that's just the main kind of benefits. So it's a huge number of people, and it's a huge proportion of the foreigners that live in Britain. And we had another story recently that said that the amount of money being paid out every month in universal credit is getting close to £1 billion a month. So to give some context, last year the government said that there was an enormous financial crisis because we had a £22 billion black hole in public finances. Well, with these statistics, more than half of that would just be foreigners claiming benefits. That's not good for the economy.
Definitely some eye-popping statistics there, and it sounds like just clearly not a sustainable situation. Guy, thanks for coming on.
Always good fun to be on the DW.
Thanks for waking up.